Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening. Yes, so it is Thursday and closer and closer to the weekend. So I'm truly excited because God has just been good to us all week long, all day long. We're not going to open up without prayer. So, Father God, we humbly come to you and we thank you. We thank you for this week, last week, and next week, oh Lord. Father God, we pray that you continue to bless us, you continue to grow us, you continue to groom us, you continue to encourage us, you continue to guide us, you continue to love on us. Father God, we love you. We need you, we want you, and we just got to have you. Father God, there is no one else above you. In your Son Jesus' name, we do pray. Amen and amen. Bless this podcast. All right. Good, 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 good. Hello, 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 my people. All right. There's a few things that I want to talk about today, this evening. And it's just like, can't win for lose around here. It's always something happening. So I'm gonna kick things off with admin. I know I did change the times today. So instead of like 8 o'clock, we turned on at 9, which is cool and all. So it might end up being 9 o'clock on Thursdays and Sundays. All right. I'm gonna get my agenda down pat. But in the meantime, in between time, just be with your girl. I have some very important things I want to talk about today. But let's go ahead and kick things off with some breaking news. All right. So I got a little breaking news. Let me go ahead and touch on one of the items I want to present tonight because there's a lot of madness going on, but I want y'all to just stand steady, stand tall, and be ready. Okay? You be ready so you wouldn't have to get ready. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so let me go jump in here and see what I got going on. Oh, all right, before I do that, let me go ahead and read the fair use copyright disclaimer. All right. So fair use copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. So now that we got that out the way, let me go ahead and proceed to my video. All right. Let me share my screen. And the first one I want to start off with is actually, let's start off with this reading. This happened today. Let me see. Wow. And I'm going to read y'all something that happened right here in our hometown. And it says, 5 dead, including 3 kids at South Carolina home. Um, Let me see if I can view this tab in the StreamYard, and let me increase the tab so I can read it to you guys because I think this was pretty important. Let me see. Can I scroll? Um, Not so much. Let me exit this screen and let me just read it to y'all, okay? Here we go. It says a former soldier shot and killed 3 children as they slept in their South Carolina home Tuesday night while their mother frantically sought help, authorities said. The ex soldier then killed himself. Charles Slacks Jr. also killed an Army soldier who worked with the children's mother and happened to be at home, Sumter Police Chief Russell Roark said at the news conference Wednesday. Slacks and the woman were divorced, but he still had a key to the home in Sumter and let himself in around 10 p.m. Tuesday, Roark said. Slacks shot the co-worker in the backyard as the mother tried to stop him, pushed past her to go upstairs, and shot the children, ages 5, 6, and 11, in their beds, the police chief said. Little children were sleeping in the comfort of their own bed, Roark said. The mother's cell phone was upstairs charging, so she ran to see if her wounded coworker had a phone and she could use. She heard the gunshots, came back inside, and saw her ex-husband at the top of the stairs where he shot himself, Roark said. The soldier who was killed had no relationship with the woman outside of work, and investigators haven't figured out why Slacks came to the home, or whether he was supposed to have a key. Anybody who has children, anybody who has empathy toward a child dying so violently could understand how the mother is feeling, the police chief said. Slacks was 42, killed his own children, 5-year-old Aiden Holiday Slacks and his 6-year-old brother Asen Holiday Slacks, and also killed their half sister, 11-year-old Ava Holiday, Sumter County Corona. Coroner, I'm sorry, Robert Bacon said. Before the divorce, Slacks had been Ava's stepfather. It was a long night. This was just an awful thing, the coroner said. So I don't even know, where really to begin, because it seems like it's going from bad to worse, and it's getting closer and closer. And I'm trying to figure out, where is our mind when we in the midst of a situation and you involve kids in it? Since when does the kids totally innocent? Not that's not what we do. That's not what we are about as a people. So, and this happens to be a soldier, and all kinds of questions run through my mind on it, because it's like, what's involved here? Of course, PTSD, there's trauma, there's a divorce happening, but 3 children are involved, barely got a chance to even see real life. And then he goes and shoots himself. He might as well have shot himself from the beginning. Keep the kids out of it. That's all I have to say about that. If y'all have any comments, go ahead and put that in the comment section of things. And is there a caller on the line or somebody that wants to add to that situation? All right, going once, going twice, moving on. All right, so here we got another situation here that does also involve children. So, mhm. Mm-mm. Let me see if I can go ahead and play. Mm, mm, where was it at? Is this it? One second. Let me get to it, because um, I think this was it. Let me share this properly. Stop sharing that. But if it ain't one thing, it's another. And it's like,
he struck his daughter with and against a...
Let me rewind it some. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just let it play out.
Neck and throat. The 25-year-old picked his daughter up from a daycare on Monday before leading police on a chase and eventually a standoff in Northwest Harris County.
Telling the officers, like, look at this FaceTime call, move in now. And they sat there and said they got to get everybody ready. And they have to put on their, like, shields and stuff, and they have to do all of this extra stuff. Like, he wasn't killing her on this FaceTime call. They waited at least 20 minutes to move in.
I've been pressing officials about why they waited to move in. And now we've learned there's an internal investigation to look into whether all policies were followed by both the sheriff's office and HPD. The sheriff's office sent us a statement saying, in part, the investigation will include a thorough review of the timeline, camera footage, dispatch communications, and radio traffic. Watson says she's felt failed by law enforcement leading up to her daughter's death. ABC 13 has learned the sheriff's office responded to at least 2 calls just days before, once on March 15th for a terroristic threat, and again on the 19th for telephone harassment.
I told them over and over and over that something was wrong. They could have at least tried to find him or check it out. But no, even with his past, they saw it, but they still looked past it like it was nothing.
I asked the sheriff's office why no action was taken. They told us the district attorney's office determined there wasn't enough evidence to charge him. They also said they tried to do a welfare check but couldn't find Flanagan. Explanations that this grieving mother, feeling helpless and failed, says aren't good enough.
I tried to reach out. I tried, but they didn't believe me. They thought I was making it up and that he was just a father.
Helpless and failed says aren't good enough.
I tried to reach out. I tried, but they didn't believe me. They thought I was making it up and that he was just a father. They didn't want to pull phone records or nothing until she actually passed.
This is how Kirsten Watson wants to remember her 2-year-old happy and loving daughter, Zavea, haunted by her last moment alive on a FaceTime.
She was on his lap and she was gasping for air. And as she was gasping for air, he just had his arm around her neck, just squeezing tighter. He was like, "This is what you made me do. All you care about is that man." And I'm telling him, "No, stop, please. This is your daughter. She loves you." But he's still doing it.
DeAndre Flanagan is charged with murder. Court records say he struck his daughter with and against a blunt object and choked her, applying pressure to her neck and throat. The 25-year-old picked his daughter up from a daycare on Monday before leading police on a chase and eventually a standoff in Northwest Harris County.
Telling the officers, like, "Look at this FaceTime call. Move in, move in, move in now." And they sat there and said they got to get everybody ready. And they have to put on their like shields and stuff, and they have to do all of this extra stuff. Like he wasn't killing her on this FaceTime call. They waited at least 20 minutes to move in.
I've been pressing officials about why they waited to move in. And now we've learned there's an internal investigation to look into whether all policies were followed by both the sheriff's office and HP.
My gosh. That's a lot to unfold. And it seems like almost every agency failed them. I'm talking from the police force to Facebook should have some level of like red beaming flag for situations like that. And as well as the 911 dispatcher. Where are the men, the mentors, for couples such as this in a very unique way? If I had to unravel it, I would say the young lady has another man per se, right? She got another man. He went to go pick up the girl from the daycare, the precious, beautiful baby girl from the daycare. And I think it was a certain level of jealousy going on because she has a man, and I guess they broke up in some way, shape, or form. So another young life lost. How and why? You know, hey, Master Ryan.
Yeah, that is truly troubling. It's troubling. When you see the cry out for help, from not just the young lady, but actually the young man. Everyone, where's the accountability on both parties? Of course the man, he's gonna face accountability, especially dealing with the legal system, but at the same time, where's her accountability? How old was his baby? What was she doing to even cause such a separation at such a young age?
She was
What I
two.
mean?
She was two.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we know we have to, just so much that we don't understand as far as when it comes to relationships, you know, and how it's almost torn apart from just, the media and social media and so much more.
Right.
So, to where this young man seemed to be trying to really get back with this woman,
Mhm.
sounds crazy and all, but at the same time, it's
The
just,
relationship is still fresh because the baby girl is only two. Um, and it seems as though, he didn't want her with no one else. But at some point, if one of the parties is not willing to be with the other, then there has to be some level of acceptance, and he needs to have seek counseling
that
or
too, that too. But like I
somebody
said again,
in his
that
sector
that 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 it
should have said,
goes
"Bro,
in with the
go ahead,
children.
let her go. There's other fish in the sea, and just continue dealing with your daughter and continue loving on her." But instead, in such a gruesome way, you kill
That too.
this sweet,
But see,
beautiful young girl.
we have to also understand too, that sounds crazy and all, but that's actually how things used to really be, and it's actually the norm, for someone really, well, maybe not the killing of the baby part, but in reality, so like if you decide to leave with someone's children, for some odd reason, that's, especially today. Today is, in America, just, we have so many different ways of normalizing taking of someone's child. Even the foster system is just, everyone's just normalizing. Somebody's getting a child taken. So it doesn't,
Yeah,
so the moral, the overall moral stance of feeling, actually loving someone and having it on a daily basis, probably with someone else, or even, it's a hard thing both ways, and I think the women today don't really understand that part because they're the ones doing it. So when you think about it, when you're the one holding someone's child, holding someone's chips, and you telling him this, that, the third with another man teasing him, and things like that, that gives a different type of, you know, godly law that court wise does not understand. You understand? So when you're thinking of God's law, and then when you're thinking of the feeble minds of man, especially with sluts and prostitutes leading and all type of homosexuals and all in power, and they thinking this queer way of living, and then when someone's morally like, hey, that's my son, I want to
yeah, but
feel
I've
sorry, this is
never
my
heard
daughter.
where the police said they had to put on all their gear, their garments. Hold on, let me grab my this. Hold on, let me grab my that. Usually, in a situation like that, they already at the ready. Like, what
But
happened? What went wrong? It take y'all 20 minutes to get in there. Like,
but you
no,
also got, so that
no.
goes another, that can go a whole nother situation if you really think about it too. It could be a guy, they, you know, something dealing with some of his medicines that they taking these days, and they might have known he was off his rocker. They might have hoped he done something, so therefore they have a reason. So sometimes, you
Because
don't want to do.
they said that the day before they had a terrorist threat, and then the day after they had some other level of threat. So they
But you
put
gotta
both of
also,
these men.
but, I'm gonna tell you too. I'm gonna tell you too. You gotta understand something. Our women in our community, especially in the low levels of it, they have weaponized the police so much in the wrong way that sometimes, they get calls all the time. Like, hey, they're like, look, Ann, she tripping, or this, that, and the
Okay,
third, or, they go somewhere and it's a lovers, something crazy, or, so they, might not have took it like that on several levels.
okay.
But at the same time, when you have children involved and women making threats and, women to say anything these days, so you got to also remember that too. Then you have a lot of,
But it was also on Facebook. So
Well, who
I'm
knows
sure
if
the
they watching it?
911 dispatch, she could have looked up on Facebook and let them know, hey, this is a real deal thing. This is not what happened yesterday. Get somebody, get in there, put on your bulletproof vest and get in there. It's not, oh, hold on, let me grab my, hold up, let me. Why is it like when we really need y'all, it's some BS. But when we don't need y'all, y'all come across, y'all come and y'all, like, okay, this incident, for instance, hold on. Let me show you this one. Not necessary. Let's see. Can I press play? Let me press play on it.
In a really bad accident.
I want my child back.
I don't have to do this.
It takes work.
I was thinking if we found the craft, we could be on Shark Tank. Hey,
Okay, this is a
Shark!
situation where the mother of 5 has her children
Tonight,
taken
two
away.
Black parents are in a desperate fight with the state of Tennessee over custody of their children.
5 children taken away while one of them were still breastfeeding. The father locked in a cage, having to make bond for a citable offense.
Emotions running high after more than a month of separation following a traffic stop. This nightmare for Deontay Williams and Bianca Claiborne began on February 17th when the family was pulled over while driving from Atlanta to Chicago for a funeral. An arrest warrant obtained by NBC News says Tennessee Highway Patrol stopped Williams for having dark tint and driving in the left lane while not actively passing. An officer smelled weed and after searching the car found a gun, officials say, and 2 small amounts of marijuana. The warrant also alleges both the driver and the female passenger admitted to smoking marijuana. Williams was arrested for possession, while Claiborne was given a citation.
We did not arrest the mother in this particular case. That's where we left it. The children were left in the mother had custody of the children.
But hours later, something changed.
She was sitting outside the Criminal Justice Center waiting to get her partner out. And then CS approached trying to take the children away.
All 5 children, ages 3 months to 7 years old, were taken by Child Protective Services. State Senator London Lamar is among those demanding the children be returned.
I've never heard of children being ripped away from their family for a misdemeanor charge on some simple drug possession when marijuana is legal in half the states in the country.
Their attorney telling NBC News the children were not returned to their parents after a hearing in juvenile court Monday and remain in foster care tonight, pending the results of a drug test.
It's certainly extreme, but the problem is that courts in family law have such vast discretion to decide what they want to do on a case-by-case situation.
The Department of Children's Services says caseworkers acted appropriately.
You know, we talk about transparency a lot, whether that be policy, procedure, protocol, and in this case, we feel like those case managers did just that.
The department did not clarify the grounds for removal, but told NBC News in a statement, DCS and law enforcement follow protocol for collecting evidence. Those findings are then presented to the court. In this instance, the evidence resulted in the court placing children in DCS custody. Tonight, still more questions than answers, as Williams and Claiborne vow they won't stop fighting for their kids.
This has got to end.
And Priscilla Thompson joins us now from
Now that's ridiculous right there.
Right. Hold on, let me close this out. So I'm confused. I'm not for no one taking anyone's children. That's for daggone right. But was the kids in the car?
Say it again.
Was the children in the vehicle?
Yeah, I'm sure they were, but at the same time, they were traveling. Obviously they were traveling somewhere. State to state. Doesn't matter. The whole fact that they went overboard on such a small deed really goes to show.
Okay, so the boyfriend got locked up and she got a citation. So if she got a citation, they still feel like the kids were under some level of harm because now the question is, was the gun loaded? Where was the gun located?
No. See, that's not the point. That's not got nothing to do with it. They exit the gun right now. That ain't got nothing to do with the
But
situation.
then the marijuana use, if he smelled marijuana smoking and they said that they were smoking, you're not supposed to be smoking with no kids in no car.
Let me stop that for a second.
And she's
The
supposed to be
bottle,
breastfeeding.
they wasn't smoking with kids in the car. They said they
Okay.
smelled marijuana on them. I smelled that they were
Okay.
smoking. Molly smoked
Okay.
at a spot before they came out or
Uh-huh.
whatever. You know,
Okay, sounds like there's some injustice here. And but at the end of the day, you don't take no whole 5 children to do what? Like if you didn't lock
yeah.
her up at the same time you was locking Duke up, then she should have been able to go home with her kids.
But you have to also understand too. You have to think of the bigger situation. You traumatize the family already, locking up the father of the children, and then you took him, placed him in a cage for something that's legal and it's being sold in so many stores and being as legal in so many places in America. You understand what I'm saying? They make commercials
But
about it. They
listen,
sell
when
it.
you travel from state to state to state to state, each state now has different laws as it pertains to
Yes,
marijuana
regardless.
and a weapon. So depending
Listen
on what
again.
state that they were in is going to be dependent on what the charge is. Because if
This
I
is
go
again. This
between
is a. But listen,
South
sweetheart. You
Carolina
have
and North Carolina, the laws for the weapon and the laws for marijuana is different, and or Virginia per se.
stop for a second, and you have to understand it does not matter if you're a state resident. Say if you got guns, you're a state resident from Texas, and you got all type of guns, and you just so happen to go wherever the hell you want to go. You're going there and going back. You're still in the state as long as you're in your vehicle.
Okay,
So
teach me something.
So when
Yes,
you're
sir.
traveling and you have the right to so-called bear weapons, even if it's just in the back seat, as long as you're not holding it. You understand things like that. They went
Okay,
overboard. They searched, they embarrassed them, they humiliated these people, arrested the
right,
young man, and then that wasn't good enough because he obviously took the charge because they wanted for kids or whatever, make sure nothing. But then when that was all
right.
being said and done, while she in the lobby waiting on him, they, pet post bond or whatever, they come in on a sneak attack with some other papers and sneak the children. Now
That's
I
bullshit.
don't find that's not
You could
favorable.
have
So
at
now
least said call the grandma, call the auntie, call the godmother or something, and have
no,
them come get
no,
the kids or
no, it
something.
doesn't
You don't
see
just go ahead and
you.
put them into no damn a whole five
But
set of kids.
you have to listen again. Stop for a second. You have to also understand this that when you do that or do something like that for something that is minor, you're taking these kids from the state that they belong to, putting them in another state, in a whole nother environment, doing God knows what, and the time frame that you have them, sexually
True,
abusing them. You're doing God
true.
knows what. Don't sit back and think these places are just innocent. These places are some of the most sickest things you can imagine. So these people
Yeah.
probably seen an opportunity to get five extra people on the docket, or five extra people. So some people think
But
like that.
one of the kids is as young as 3 months, and I heard she was still breastfeeding. So
So
I'm trying to figure out who called DSS. Was it the courts?
it's no, it's the same police officers, the same people. It doesn't matter. These people are all against anybody, especially if you're dealing with them on such small basis. No one is, you're not even supposed to call the police for nothing. If you
Hmm.
really think about it, for you can call them for a home invasion. And next thing you know, you're in jail.
So they were on their way to a funeral, and they're
Like I
in the
said again, they were
vehicle. They
traveling.
have
It doesn't matter.
weapons. They
It
got
doesn't matter
marijuana.
where they were traveling. It doesn't matter where they were
She
going.
gets the citation, and he goes to jail, and she get all 5 children taken. They coming from
Yeah,
Tennessee. I
exactly.
think they were headed to Chicago.
And I don't support that in no type of way. And I feel like they should get all these big weed smokers, so-called Snoop Dogg and whoever else. These people need to draw attention to that. And whoever the officers are, they need to be on a, public scale. Let everybody see who they are, man. Show the weight that they are placing on people.
Right, because they could have
So
gave them both a citation and told them to be on their way, especially when they were headed to somewhere important, and then to stop them, place one in jail, and then
but
this is
you have
how
to
they
also
get this. The men, our men, get a whole rap sheet. So from here on forward, he's gonna have something on on his record, and she's gonna have something on her record. And then what? She's not gonna be able to get certain benefits, certain opportunities to come her way. So she's gonna be stuck in this system forever and ever due to this incident that could have been handled
if
a whole different way.
and if anything, the positive of this, it sheds a whole light on the situation in a misuse of power within these states, especially dealing with state to state. I mean, they probably thought these guys was doing something real big, so they overstepped the boundaries. Like, oh, they thought they had more than they did, and they realized they didn't have anything but 5 children. So they said, hey, you ain't got no drugs, but you have children, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna take your children. These people are
Mm-mm.
real sick, and the way they think is not normal because it's a way to, you gotta understand something. Anybody in uniform, when in uniform, everyone outside of uniform is the enemy. That's the
Mm.
mindset. So it's just look how they did that one soldier, and he's in uniform, the police in uniform, and they had no respect for the guy in uniform. I've seen police officers pull over detectives, black detectives, and the brother get out, jump out like, "Hey man, what's going on, man?" In full
Right.
uniform, police. So it's always the suspicious, quick to draw young man 9 times out of 10. A young buck trying to flex his muscle or
Okay,
something
well,
of that nature.
let's roll into the other segment of the thing. I wanted to shed some light on hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, no, that's still so here we go. Let me find it. This young lady. Did I happen to have a YouTube that was I don't know how long ago this was. I didn't want to touch on this case, but I want us to ensure that we do not forget about this case because it's still ongoing.
The airport to
Right.
get through the airport.
Yes.
Can I make a note
So
for one
they
second?
they dead
Sure.
dead wrong. Cabo 6 is dead wrong when they got
Mhm.
on that flight and left that girl body. I don't care if she was
Yeah, please
still
do.
alive or if she was dead. They were
Got it.
dead wrong and they packed up their stuff.
Got it. Okay. So what I'm hearing is that's not what actually happened.
I
I
want y'all to
heard
just
the nurse or the housekeeper discovered her body around 12 o'clock. And they were there. And then the housekeeper informed the girls, hey, your friend is here and something is very wrong. And then that's when they called the doctor and things. That Cabo 6 didn't leave until after the doctor showed up.
so I wanted to touch on that real quick because I want to keep this her situation going and alive. Shaquilla Robinson, the young lady that passed away October 2022, I believe it was. They still have not done the arrest. The Cabo Six is still out and about doing their thing, and I wanted to make sure that we continue to uphold and make sure that some level of justice comes her way because this is a bad thing. We as people, we go out to different locations, travel with each other, girls trip, all of that, every year. We got some stuff coming up this year, this summer. So here's the thing. Travel with your family, and I don't know about too much about no friends because at this point it just seems like nobody can be trusted. Like how out of all six of these folks, just like the police officers with the Tyree Nichols case, out of all five, six, seven of them, nobody said, nah, we can't do this. This shit ain't right. Let's just chill. Nah, leave him alone. He's good. No, nobody out of all seven, six of them, everybody was with the same mindset. No, something ain't right, something off, and we got to get it. Just turned 2023, and we hitting up every last bit of all these little bit of issues because in my mind, I'll be like, damn, is it only me that sees some weird shit happening out here? I'm like,
It's
you know
most
what? I gotta
definitely not
talk.
you.
I gotta talk
It's
about it.
most definitely not you. You got to also think out here. These people, or people in general, have different emotions that they display, or
Mm,
different faces that they show. So you have to be able to not just watch out for it, but adapt to it. You know, that young lady that you just mentioned, for instance, I hear she was a young entrepreneur. She was on her way up, doing a lot of good things.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you have to also see when you're doing that, most people are like that, have that light. They're going to shine anyway. I find myself doing that a lot. I'm always find myself, shining or just being around people in a happy, positive, positive motion where they may be down and have a real dreadful attitude or unappreciative. You have to have gratefulness. A lot of people don't have gratefulness. They have an envious, jealousy heart, a coveted heart almost. And you have to be an appreciative, or you have to be in a mind of appreciation, gratitude. A lot of people say your attitude determines your altitude, but I think gratitude also
Mm,
fits that too,
I like
because
that.
you got to also understand gratitude in the smallest things gives you the appreciation of the word. And when you appreciate the word, you understand the value of a book. You understand? Then you start putting things into motion. See, if you don't even appreciate a word, you can never understand a sentence. So
Mm,
therefore, speaking to you will be incomprehensible to either one of us. For the language has been twisted, deviled.
okay, I can
I'm gonna
dig
give
it. But then at which point do y'all say, I mean, even the dudes in there, y'all don't even say, nah, chill, chill, break that shit up. Nah,
because you have to,
that's
and
enough.
then another thing
Something
too,
like,
another thing too, you have to also see the male characteristics of the men that was there. You have
mm,
unfavorable men around favorable women. You got to also understand if there's a bunch of men around a bunch of females and no one's trying to get no pussy, there's something wrong.
mm-hmm,
You got to also understand nature is designed for that alone. Positive and negative fusion together. And if that's not going on, if the man is trying to be like the woman and envious of the woman for what she has and tries to portray that an issue, therefore,
right.
the woman can never truly be trusted. Or protected. For that man could possibly slay you for just your vagina if the opportunity gave it, and not for sexual purposes, but for a sickness that you couldn't even understand.
Okay.
You gotta understand, there's men out here. There was a movie called Hannibal back in the day, to where a man will go out there and slice up a woman, chop up their private parts, and literally wear their skin and try to create a dress for himself out of women's skin to feel the nature of being a woman. You have to understand the mindset of the sick man. It's beyond under incomprehensible for
Okay.
that man. Stop there.
Okay. Okay. Well, here's our next our topics for this evening. I'm gonna just jump right into it. It goes the dangers and misfortunes of miscommunication. And some of that is what is about to I'm about to show right now. And then we're going to jump into knowing when to choose your battles. That also has a lot to do with tonight's broadcast, just the main broadcast, because I feel some type of way that somebody would, another commenter would attack another commenter, or even like we attacking each other when we should be really in the fight, trying to get things right as a people, all people. And maybe you could shed some light on this, Master Rob, because I'm a little bit confused now, and I don't know what to do. I feel like in between, and then connecting the loose ends, and then also techniques on healing. So here I go. I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna start it off at 10:04 minute. And if y'all want to go back and view, y'all can view. But this is a quick little presentation from Queen Amadaya yesterday, and she was talking about a good friend of ours, Marcel Dixon. And so, and her title is Marcel Dixon didn't deserve to win a seat in Congress. And I hold on, let me share it because I'm gonna have her speak first and then I'll speak on it. Let me jump to the 10-minute mark. Okay, somewhere around here.
But isn't that what racist, wanton supremacists tell us as Black people? Don't they tell us to go back to Africa? Isn't that the same thing that they say? Isn't that the same thing? Because they Black doesn't mean they us, Queen Cornelius. I didn't say that meant they're us. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is at the end of the day, these people are our people, whether you want to say they're FBA or not. Okay.
Well, I agree with
yes, they're from
her.
Africa, some are from Jamaica, some are from Trinidad. But at the end of the day, don't we all have something in common? Aren't we all oppressed no matter where in this world that we live?
Absolutely.
But no matter where in the world we come from, aren't we all being oppressed? Aren't the wanton supremacists oppressing the people in Africa? Aren't they doing it to the ones in Jamaica? Aren't they doing it to the ones of us right here? Irvo Otieno is an African. He was deleted the other day. Okay, he was deleted. So right here in America. So though he's not FBA, as some of you would call it, he still got the same treatment as FBA. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so to sit here and be divisive is ignorant. Okay, and to sit here and say they're not us, well, you may think they're not us, but at the end of the day, when Marcel says we got stripped from our homeland, what homeland is Marcel talking about? What homeland is he talking about? We didn't get stripped from America because we're still in America. So when Marcel Dixon is saying we got stripped from our homeland because of the people over there, the Africans is who he's talking about, isn't that contradictory? Because then they want to turn around and say that we're not African. And so if he's saying we got stripped from our homeland, which he is talking about Africa when he's saying that, Cornelius, isn't he in fact saying that we're the same people? Isn't he in fact saying that we're the same people? If they're in Africa, because he's telling them to go back home, he's clearly talking about Africa. And he says they're the reason why we got stripped from our homeland. So isn't he saying that we came from Africa? They don't get mad about that.
Let me see if I can fast
As
forward.
the same people, just from different parts of the globe. They're not being divisive amongst themselves. The only fools doing that are people who look like us. Now, like I said, if you're so mad, if you're so upset with Black immigrants who don't like us, well, how come you're not mad about the Bloods and the Crips? How come you're not mad about people born right here in this country, like Jason Hamhock Whitlock? Okay.
No, see. I'm gonna have to stop. But when she start talking about the Bloods and the Crips,
okay,
and things of
well,
that
hold on.
nature.
Let me put out some. Let me say something real quick.
You know, bad enough she's talking about.
Bad enough she's talking about. So this is right off the cuff. I'm gonna tell you this right off the cuff.
Let me.
I don't think that she is aware of some of the Twitter beef that goes on Twitter.
I think she's very aware of it. She's very aware of it. She's very
she may
aware
or may
of it.
not be aware of, but
She,
yeah,
let me explain.
but she's only stating.
She's only seeing and trying to pull out.
She didn't put out what it was that was said prior to, hence the reason why he reacted how he reacted. So I don't think she's aware of what.
Hold for a second. And technically, we all have been stripped and moved from our homeland, even here in America. You got to understand. See, when people talk that, they don't understand that there's stuff like the Trail of Tears. There's stuff like, the first Virginia moving in when they first came in, the pilgrimage when they landed on Plymouth Rock and they moved in on
Okay.
us. They moved us from our homeland, moving into our homeland, positioning us outside of bases, making us in the different areas we had to, so much more. So you have to understand, it's not just I'm not twisting any words. I'm just saying in general. In
Well, here's the
history,
thing. May I talk? May I say something?
continue.
This was this, and that's why I talk about we the people need to stay on code, because
Hmm.
this is a
Yeah.
situation where she could have pulled him off to the side. She got his number. She just interviewed him last year when he was running for office. So at the end of the day, like, people to people, call me, text me, pull me to the side and tell me your thoughts, but don't air me out, especially when you know I'm headed for big picture
Office.
Congress stuff, and you said he didn't deserve to win office because of this,
Absolutely.
that,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
third.
yeah.
And
That's foul
that
business. And
call is
with
a
that type
problem
of
because it's
let me say
dangerous.
let me say
That's
something.
a
Let me say something
misconception
like that. Let me say
of
something like that. I like the
miscommunication.
I don't know if you can hear me or not. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like I was saying, you know, um, that is foul business. Like great thing you were saying about that's when you need to start trying to be on code. And meaning there's a time to really choose your battle. And this is not the
Hmm.
time to be speaking ignorant, especially on a man trying to do the right thing. No matter what he says, even if it's in foul nature. That's like talking about someone's sexuality today. That doesn't matter. So they say it does not matter. So okay, we'll play the same role. But at the same time, don't be offended when when it's time for someone to really claim what needs that you say does not matter.
Right.
That you see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So you have to be mindful about putting your foot in your mouth. You
And
know
then
what I'm
she
saying?
goes in on Rashad. Oh, Tariq Nasheed. I'm sorry. So she goes in on Tariq Nasheed talking about how he has like a Polish or Jewish mother-in-law and so on and so forth, and how he always talking
So let
about
me
this
let me explain
FBA this
again.
and
Let me
FBA
explain
that.
that to you again.
But
I'm not going to say
okay, Marcel and them two might be all in the same, but they still do business with people outside of FBA. They've done business. Okay, you might be
and let me
bailiff
slow
and so
you.
on and so forth,
Yeah, let
but
me
at the
let me
same
let me
time, your
let me
wife in itself is from a whole different like situation.
hold on
So
for a second. Hold on
they
for a
do
second. That makes
business with people.
but then you got to also think too. Like a lot of people say about different things. Why is she so anxious and angry on trying to protect immigrants? I don't give a damn. Then you got to also think about that. Like, why, is that your only talking point? I mean, I'm sure you got more talking points, but I'm just saying, like,
Right. But
is
here's my
is
thing. If you
is
came
that it's
here
like it's
under
like
false
it's like a
pretense,
yin to a
that's
yang
a
type shit you're
problem.
trying to be
If
on.
you came here with the right paperwork and the right citizenship and the right push, then by all means enjoy and let's live the life of liberty, justice for all. You know what I'm saying? But if
But
you come here,
I'm saying one. You got to also understand what I'm trying to say. It's a 6-9 effect to where one is really speaking right and trying to do things for the people of America, especially the black founders of America and the people
and
who
we
really
always throwing each other under the bus. Why would you
hold on
throw
for a
him
second.
under the
Hold on
bus
for a
like that?
second. Hold
He
on for a
was
second.
just
It's like
on
it's
her
like now. It's
podcast
like
the other day.
it's like
She
now
was
how I'm trying to say
under her,
something.
talking on her. All of a sudden, she flipped the script and she ain't she ain't with it no more. But you could have pulled him to the side and told him that. And we talked to Marcel all the time. So if we had something to say or had an issue on what it was that he was doing, then that's something that you could tell him on the ski low. You ain't got to come on the podcast and discuss all of that. And Tariq Nasheed. Like these are people that's trying to do something positive for us, push for us all, but you got to get one foot in the door first. They trying to get the first foot in the door. After they get that first foot, then everybody else will follow. We're gonna push through with whatever is to come, whether it's on reparations, employment, um, increase in productivity, business aspects of things. Like it's more than just FBA. it's not just solely, reparations that we're fighting for, and that's not even my plight. At the end of the day, I'm pushing for some stuff on the business aspect. So don't do that. Don't do that, sis. That's not cool. Because at some point, I want to see all these people in a room discussing the big picture. Whether they white, black, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, like, let's discuss the way forward. We always just stepping on each other instead of like increasing each other. Like, you would have called Duke up and told him that. You know what I'm saying? You would have to air it
All
out.
right, hold on for a second. Hold on for a second now. Enough. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna switch the topic because there's too much. That's whack.
Okay. Okay, I'm done. So let me move on. Let me exit my full screen. Moving on. Well. So the remainder of the topics for tonight, I think that pretty much did it all because we discussed the dangers and misfortunes of miscommunication. And that's a part of the dangers and the misfortune of it all. You could have just called a sister, call a brother, and say, hey, this, that, and the third.
And yeah,
Instead,
you're
you
right.
let it
And
go viral.
but like I said again too, a lot of people today, they're not necessarily they claim, they put out a lot of good stuff, but they're not trying to, it's a yin yang thing to where someone is talking positive and trying to do positive things to where you're really, trying to see only negative and force negativity to any positive light. So, you don't want to be a dark shadow for someone's sun.
Right.
So
And
I
we do
mean,
that to each other. We do it to ourselves. It's a time for peace and a time for war. And right now, we're trying to be at peace. I'm not trying to get into no issues, no battles with no one, but I am trying to stand up for what is right. And I
but
feel like,
yeah, so right now, we just gotta do better and think better and communicate on a more positive note. Look for better things to increase the volume on and
mhm.
decrease the volume on all low level hating and low level whatever, because we got to be in a more positive vibration and think
I wonder what
more.
Vicky Dillon would have to say.
Well, I wonder what you have to say. We heard it.
Because I want to see all of us in one room one day. Vicky, Queen Aha Amadaya, Tariq
All right,
Nashad,
we're
Nigel
gonna end
B,
this.
Marcel, you, Umar Johnson. Like, at some point, they gotta do some level of linking up. They gotta bring this whole thing together and come up with a plan from there. Um, but yeah. So, babe, excuse me, sir, do you have any techniques on healing? So having some techniques on healing.
Number one techniques on healing is you have to let go, forgive, and try your best to think of positive stuff of all negative things. So it's not necessarily forgetting, but just think of the positive things that are.
Hey, good day, Tamika. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are y'all today?
You
How's
sound
everybody?
great. Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
right.
So we went over some real deep issues today, but it's a lot of let's just kick things off with you on techniques for healing. What are some techniques that you use when you may have had a bad day or a bad issue, and healing wise, what is it that I can do if I need to, like, just blow some or vent a little bit or blow some energy off?
hmm I think a nice walk would be good because when you walk and maybe listen to some music, walking gets rid of a lot of adrenaline, and it helps you get a lot of blood flow to the brain. So it helps you release a lot of pressure and stuff. So I think that that's good. It allows you to calm down, calm your body down. Talking with someone that is rational. I'm not saying talking to we have those friends that have reason, and we have those friends that are, not so reasonable. They like, girl, let's get in the car and go find what's up. Not that kind. Because we trying to de-escalate a situation. So I think talking to someone that has a lot of reasoning can help us sometimes. Reading a book can help you. Relaxing bath, glass of wine also helps because the wine clears the blood vessels in the brain. Red wine, preferably.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to
And those are the
add.
things that help me.
I add to that. Of course, yoga, the meditation music. I like the flute music. Art,
She took the yoga.
painting.
She took the yoga right out of my mouth because you got to understand, yoga is one of the best, if not the best, methods of decreasing all stress. Just to get in a good stance and flow.
Stretching. Yeah, yeah.
So would I do yoga at midnight once I gotten off and I'm just like totally peed off, y'all? Just say I worked a job and I got off at that time. What could I do at that time?
If you just got off the job, if you just
Yeah,
coming home
midnight.
from work and you take off that
Mm-hmm.
uniform or you take off your outfit or whatever, a good hot bath. If you can throw some jasmine
No,
or
she was
some
talking about
peppermint.
you were talking about yoga, right?
Yeah, somebody
You talking
said
about
yoga, but I'm saying
you,
everybody, when you're trying to, so say like you work and maybe you work at the post office, you work second shift and you get off and you've had a horrible day. So naturally for me at midnight, I'm not gonna do yoga. So what could I do?
I tell you what you do. I tell you
I
exactly
like
what you do.
reading.
Check this out. Check this out. Check this out.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Mm-hmm.
most people say yoga, right? And they don't understand
Yeah.
that there's different levels and flows of yoga, different positions. So you can
Mm-hmm.
just get in the prayer position, right? Get in the prayer
Mm-hmm.
position, like you about to pray or something,
Mm-hmm.
and you just
Oh,
sit
I'm
there
familiar with
floating.
yoga. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's different levels. They just do little small things, and you can do like small little sit-ups with it, small little
Mm-hmm.
6 inches, different flows of
Mm-hmm.
giving your leg pressures. My phone might have died, but yeah.
I like to add some flute music.
Yes.
I like the Indian, Native American music. My husband
Mm-hmm.
used to play that from time to time in the house, and for some strange reason, it would just get me in a calmer
Calm.
state of mind, and I begin to
Mm-hmm.
move softer, and I begin
Mm-hmm.
to deal with things around me softer. The other thing I heard that might be good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so in our backyard, okay, our backyard towards the other end of the yard, there's like a trail,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the trail,
Mm-hmm.
there's a bunch of trees, and when I wake up in the morning, there's like I gotta have my
Mm-hmm.
coffee, but I lay a cloth on the floor, and I just
Mm-hmm.
lay there like with just nothing on my mind. I usually do
Mm-hmm.
it in the summer because that's when I get the sun to hit me right on my body. That vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the trees, if they say they have tree huggers. You hold on to the tree, and your natural any negative energy, the tree will
Mm-hmm.
be able to like inherit or pick up, shall I say, and it comes off of you and into that tree. That's just like if you go around like from day to day hugging the wrong person with the negative vibes, that shit's gonna
Ooh.
wash off.
Mm.
That's why I be trying not to like hug too much people. I hug my peoples, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you a hug from far away, my sis. But some people I don't be doing that hugging. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
you are pulling
Exposing yourself.
energy. Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
very real. And so
Mm-hmm.
I try to stay away because I done did what I needed to do for the morning. And we
Mm-hmm.
do what we do for the morning, we do for the afternoon. But I meet up with somebody and it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. You try to Stay away from all that hugging because sometimes that's one negative spirit jumping onto something that's good, and then you walk away just with
Something that you
all a
already
weight.
dealing with.
Yes, ma'am.
Something that you
Yes,
already
ma'am.
dealing with.
Correct.
hmm
Correct.
And I think
Um.
that I think that sometimes you're gonna have to do self affirmations.
hmm, I love it. I love it. That in the mirror, say I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I am intelligent, I'm amazing, I'm blessed, I'm gifted. They have this cartoon that my kids watch, Gracie Corner, and she sings this ABC, and she'd be like, A, I'm amazing, B, bold and beautiful, C, I'm courageous, D, determined. She goes on and on, straight through the alphabets. And I find it to be one of the best cartoons my kids can listen to, outside of Black Sands, of course. And it's almost as though you have to continue feeding that into yourself. Feed the goodness, because you get on Facebook and them chicks and everybody else is on there like, oh, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And you see, you think they talking about you, or they may not be talking about you, but you don't care about that stuff, because you are doing you. God has put a blinder over your mind, soul, and your body, mind, and soul, to ensure that you know who you are and who you belong to. You can be just as humble as such and know who you are and who you belong to and know your own path. You always, and that's one thing, that's why I like you. You always be all about God. We all about God. We put God in everything. And that's a lot with my some of the friends that I have. Any conversation that we do have, we end up just talking about God. Because he's just that good. It's like there's no conversation that I ever had with you that we didn't just talk about God, period. It's just, and even
And even
you.
if I find a person, that their belief is not like mine, we can
Mm,
even agree that, you know what, even in whatever it is that they believe in, we always can do self affirmations that, you know what, no matter what somebody says about you, it's all in what you feel about yourself.
yes,
Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's truly how you feel about you. Are you gonna are you gonna allow somebody to dictate and tell you who you are, or do you know who you are?
mm,
And that sets the tone for how your day is gonna be.
yes, yes,
Everybody has an opinion, but is that opinion gonna make or break who you are? See,
yes.
that's where you got to know who you are.
Push,
hmm
push. I
And you
know
got to
that's right.
fight through that negativity. You're gonna have to fight through negativity because it's, for some reason, it's really dominant right now. It's in
Mm-hmm.
everybody because as the economy has gotten worse and people are getting sick and there's folks getting blessed, some people don't understand that. I always say this: favor is fair. It goes out to everybody. So if you ain't getting none, you got to go back and research what's going on with you.
God today.
hmm It's giving out to everybody now.
Tamika, you be giving me all the vibes. Because you be saying the things that I be wanting to say, but I be just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's given out to everybody because, like they say, it rains on the just and the unjust. This is just how you feeling today. If you're gonna be negative, you're gonna have a negative day. So you ain't gonna
And
receive nothing.
me, like it's
hmm
and it's in the atmosphere. We just went over um three different situations where there were children that was killed. It was just, I can't even revert back to it. But at the same time, out here ain't right. Something is off. And I'm trying to stay out from the swing of the bat because something. I'm just trying to lay low because it's like as soon as you go outside, it's always somebody. As soon as you turn on the social media, it's always somebody.
And
It's
you
too
gotta also remember too, there's a lot of engineering fear engineering out here. You
Mhm.
know, and you gotta also remember what is fear. False realities not yet real or something like that. I forgot exactly what it
Not
was.
Mhm.
manifested yet. That's what fear is. False
Yeah, so you
reality
Mhm.
gotta
is not manifested yet.
so you
So
gotta
how do
remember
I
there's
deal
no
with
such
that? If
thing.
I was dealing with a level of fear, how do I get through my day?
You have to fear drives courage. So fear is just another form of a negative emotion that forces you to
Mhm.
choose positivity or
Yep.
choose the positive. See, fear can have you curled in a corner, or fear can
Mhm.
drive you to be say, "Hey, I'm gonna go get me a AR-15 and defense the whole." You know what I'm saying? Or something of that nature. You know, it
Mhm.
drives you to protect, drives you to create the extra give, or fear drives you to to make you think before you take the next step too. So fear
Mhm.
driven the right way is a positive. You know, it's not necessarily a negative, for it drives out courage. You know, to face
Mhm.
your fear is to be brave.
That's true. Because you definitely gonna have to face your fears. Because if you don't, they gonna cripple you. And what do people do when they go out here and they kill people? Just say they kill someone of a different race. It's fear because you don't know them. So if you actually knew them, would you do what you did?
Right.
What is actually prejudice? It's the fear of you don't know that particular culture of people and you fear them because you don't really know them. Because if you knew them, you wouldn't even feel the way you did because those could be really good people to you, an asset to you.
You said it
I love
right.
it.
Because you have to think
Because
too.
prejudice is a crippling thing.
Yeah.
You said it right. And
Yeah.
prejudice is
Because
all.
there's been many instances where my black people have fallen short. And it be that one Caucasian that be like, hey girl, let's go such, let's do this, let's do that. So right now I don't be too concerned about the Crayola box because
Yeah.
it's not working for me. The Crayola box needs to stay a thing of the past, and we need because right now our families are so meshed and
Hmm.
we got every pieces of people within our
Hmm.
families. So we just have to have a better way of how we conversate and how we deal with people because we be
Hmm.
offending folks and don't even know we offending folks because you could be talking to me about these effing white people, blah 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 blah, but you don't even know
And
I
my
got
mama could be
seven
that.
and my mama is white. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And that's just
Hmm.
ignorance right there.
That's
You
true.
know,
That's ignorance. Hmm.
that's ignorance. You gotta also understand too, that whole ignorance alone. I don't
And
even,
Mhm.
that's fear because you know why people talk in ignorance? Because they don't have enough sense to go and research and look up things because they really truly, I think they want to know, but they just don't center themselves around people because they either don't talk intelligently or they just don't know, hey, I've never been around a person like that and I have fear of, they may not accept me. But how do you know if you never try?
Right.
They might
Because
like you.
Karen is out here, but I don't do the Karens. But we also have Amy, Jennifer. They're all right.
Well, see, that's
Shanquilla,
who.
Right.
There you go. And Keisha,
Keisha,
we gotta
And
quit
Keisha, a
worrying
big
about.
one.
We gotta
Tina,
quit worried about.
Tasha.
That's what I'm trying to say. We gotta quit worried about the other things and start focusing on our own,
Hmm.
and manifest the goodness out of them, and think of the
Hmm.
greatness out of them
you bring up a
instead
good
of
point, and I want to tell you, Tamika, we was talking about the Shanquella Robinson case. So if you have
Hmm.
any info on that, please put out because I don't
Well, I'm
know.
gonna tell you what I think about it is. This is what I think. People are gonna show you who they are, and when a person rub you the wrong way the first time, we always so quick to forgive. We gonna go all the way on the trip with them when they have wronged us the first time. Ladies, put your guards up. Men, put your guards up. When somebody does something to you, you need to watch And a lot of times, like I said, we quick to forgive because we want a friend. We feel like we so desperate. We have to have that person in our life because we want to fit in that type of situation, when sometimes we so much better than what we're centering ourselves in. And we just have to be careful of that, because
Well
sometimes
said.
I'm gonna tell you, when you go on a ladder of success, you're gonna have to come out of some things. You're gonna have to reassociate yourself with different types of people. And when like I said, when they show you who they are, you better believe them, because people will set you up nowadays, and it's always the one that you
Man,
like the most that will trap you.
man. But
Hmm.
out of all six of these folks, nobody say, yo, chill. Why y'all nobody stop nobody
Because
nothing?
everybody was in on the plan. Everybody was in on the plan because this girl was successful, and she's probably trying to help all of them, but they probably have burned her before.
So uh, is there a heart in the house tonight?
No, there
Nobody
ain't no
said
heart in
nothing?
the house because nobody had no compassion for her. Because to watch somebody being beat, you know,
Mm,
you got to think now. All these people were the same race as what we were. This is stuff that was
right.
overcome in the 50s and
That's it.
60s, right? That we saw.
Preach.
You know, this is things that they saw in this is things that they saw in slavery. And how dare we go and we do this to ourselves? So that nobody has to worry about other people enslaving us. We do it to ourselves
My God.
when we go out and we do it to each other. So you don't have to worry about nobody killing you off. You're killing your own self off.
And
Mm.
Because
and
if you
and,
love
and
somebody, if you love somebody, love them enough to leave them alone. Don't hurt them. Just leave her alone.
Ah, hallelujah.
and we just, you said it right, because our young people, our young youth, I like to say, really are being led astray. Even the
Mm-hmm.
men that were raised by women.
Yes.
So all women were raised these children. There's not a man
Mm-hmm.
present, and the only man that was actually straight, who was heterosexual, probably there, who would have been there to protect her. He arrived probably an hour later, and he's
Yeah,
the
he
only
did.
one who
And it was
helped her.
already done.
and,
Mm-hmm.
and
It was
he's the
already
only
done.
one. But you see the gay men, you see all the other jealous
Acting like
women,
women.
you see all of that happening. But see, no one want to mention that. But when you think about that, you see the real problem why you can't necessarily be trusted. Can't trust them with your
Mm-hmm.
children. Can't necessarily trust them in your bathroom. They're stealing your perfume, your bras. I mean, I'm just certain things that
Underwear. Mm-hmm.
you got to really think. And like I said, I keep referring back to that movie Hannibal. You go back to Hannibal, the
Mm-hmm.
original one, and you see back in the day that man was sick. He used to kidnap women and rip their chest and take their bra, I mean their skin, and try to create, you know, artificial women. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
himself, so he can look like a woman. This is
Mm-hmm.
long before surgery and stuff that you can do today. But so it's a real sick procedure that people don't really understand. That that
Well,
that that really.
And then men jumping on women, because you want to be a woman. That's a sickness in your
There you
mind,
go.
that
There you
you
go.
that you would act
There
mm,
you
like
go.
a woman and jump on a woman, and when you have the strength of a man.
And then
Come
they
on
have
now,
the
that you know
Jesse.
that that's not a fair fight.
But see, you got to also understand too, and I hate to say this, but it's really our
Mhm.
women, because our
We hang
mothers
around
are.
them. We condone it.
You you're the ones who condone it. You're the ones who they
Yes.
allow them to do your hair. You're the ones who allow
Yes.
them to do all that other stuff, and then you're the ones who
Hmm.
they beat, act like,
here's the
Yes.
other thing. I heard
molest
her
the children.
autopsy,
So
Pastor Ron.
it's,
Do you have anything to say about this? Because I heard her autopsy came back with stating that she has been touched as far as like sexually touched during this altercation prior to or after. So
I
that's
wouldn't put
something
it
that
past her because she was
I don't put it
naked.
past anybody. Yeah, she
She
was
was
naked.
naked,
I wouldn't put it past anybody,
and
because you
like I
still
said,
got to remember, a man that dressed up as a woman, what is he still anatomically?
and you got. And I remember I was looking at the video the other day, right? And the guy came in. He was all happy. He was getting off the plane or whatever. He jammed to DMX. He's just pulling in, having a good time. His mindset
Dr.
was in the
Dre.
right state.
It was
Yeah,
Dr.
not Dr.
Dre's.
Dre. Yeah, Dr. Dre, whatever. Yeah, whatever. But he come in listening.
how he
You know, but
jamming the Dr. Dre,
no, but listen
and
closely. Listen
that's
close.
how where he had
That's not
all
our. That's what I'm trying
Okay.
to say. That's not ironic at all. You got to understand. The man just came off the airport, man. He just came off the airport. He's in a good mood. He's Facebook Live. Why would
Mhm.
anybody who's doing something like that go Facebook Live? He's in a good mood. He ain't even show up yet. He walking in. As soon as he see what's going on, then he call the cops. He get the whole situation situated. But then you got to also understand, for a black man, especially, I can understand, because I am a black man. So you walk in and you see a body and four people sitting around looking nervous. You can't
was very.
really
I
not.
truly believe she was. You know what?
Wasn't he the one that called the police? Was it him?
And he was the one calling the police. So I mean,
The only
if
thing
a
I want,
man,
I just want them
I
to
think
just
the rape
get
was to
all fixed.
humiliate her.
no, but
I
you got
think
to
the
also
raping
understand.
was to humiliate her.
I don't
It
think that.
wasn't.
I think if anybody raped him, it was probably the females. Because like I said, the other
Yeah.
two guys were gay. See, a lot of people don't talk about that either. But that's another situation. They probably jealous, did all that stuff to her, embarrassed
Oh
her.
my God. And you
Mhm.
know
You
what?
know,
I just pray that her parents get the justice that is necessary. I mean, she gets the justice, of course, but they just need to like lock these people up, do the investigation from that point, and all of them gonna be sitting there pointing fingers, and the real truth is gonna come out. Everything that
Oh well,
happened
the real
must
truth will
come
come
out.
out because as long as there's a God in the sky, it's gonna come out because for the
Mhm.
simple fact of when they found who did this stuff to the four people that went to Mexico for the BBL, the Brazilian butt lift, and
Yeah,
it went all the way up presidential level. This has to be done because now they got Ben Crump on the case, so this is going to be solved.
I love it.
yeah, but it's just
Yes.
my
Somebody's gonna have to pay for this.
it's been a long time,
And
and
why
I
is
say
it happening just solely in Mexico? We need to go ahead if until these two cases is solved completely, stay the hell up out of
Mhm.
Mexico. Like our money, dude, we don't
Thank you.
understand that we
And the
give
part that
away
they went to,
$1.64 trillion a year in traveling and all these different levels of expenses. We need to go ahead and put out like, hey, if this is what's happening here, we're not going. If this is what
well, let
this
me
particular
tell you,
owner,
they don't fully sedate you there. They don't fully sedate you there. So if you're trying to go there, you get a blue pill. You may go to sleep, but you're gonna wake up during your surgery. Okay, you're gonna be
oh
numb, but they only
yes.
give spinals there. They only give spinals there, y'all, because they're not
Mm,
FDC
approved.
certified to put you to sleep with real anesthesia here. So go at your own risk.
Ooh,
Okay,
man, no.
just
Man.
saying. So if you like that kind of surgery, go ahead.
That
That's why you
part.
hurt so bad and vomit after you have surgery. There.
Mm,
So
it
pay
is
them
just
a couple of extra $1,000 here and get it done so you'll live to see tomorrow. I'm just
but
saying, y'all, but
let's
do
stay
what you
on
do.
that topic, Tamika, because I try not to get on here and talk about too much celebrities, but I must commend Black China for go ahead and take all that stuff up out of her. Take that,
Yeah,
just
she
like
looked the
K
best.
Michelle, take
Hmm.
all that silicone and everything else. Just take it off. I seen a picture of Black China the other day before she got into the game when she was on her way to
She looked
college.
good. Hmm.
Ooh, pretty
She was great.
girl.
Look at little
Come
Kim
on.
before she did all that.
And now she look like, ugh.
Girl, she looked like a horror movie mess.
I'm glad she
Her
taking that
daughter
stuff
pretty,
out.
but she look a
And to,
horror movie
yeah,
mess, honey.
oh yeah.
Mm.
And to those that's thinking about that stuff, look at Kim K. She already ready to take that stuff out. I know she's taking that stuff out on the low. Got to. That stuff is
Listen,
hurting.
how
And
you
it's
gonna run from a
infected.
dog? How you gonna run from a dog? You think you gonna jump on a car? Not with that
It's
junk in that trunk.
infected. That stuff gets infected. That's nastiness. Putting a
Hmm.
bunch of plastic inside of your body.
Well, they
As you
take
get
your
older,
fat and they put it in the back. They take your fat and they put it in the back. But guess what? 10 years from now, 8 to 10 years, you're gonna have it done again because it's gonna look like a saggy dump truck.
that's what it look like. That I
That's what it
seen
looked like.
pictures. Ma'am, I said, let me keep my little bits because I don't
And
want
it hurts
nothing.
so bad because it goes under the muscle. It hurts so bad. So why in the world? Listen, if you in your 40s, you've already gone around with a flat derriere so long, just keep it.
That part. My
Because you know
God.
what? Once you hit 50, listen, just buy you some clothes to make it look like you have one. It's okay.
Facts. Put on, but
People
don't
love
put
to
on.
see you coming. They love to see you coming. It's all right that you flat when you going.
Man,
It's all right.
I commend Black China for taking that stuff up out of her. Her, K
I'm sure she
Michelle,
was
a few
having
others.
problems. You
Of
start having
course she
joint
is.
problems. Hmm.
Of course she is.
And then
Now
you
she's
are
starting to talk to
small and you
herself.
got all that extra weight.
And you gotta also think too. You gotta remember something. I tell you, I challenge you. What you should do is um do like a yoga. Just sit on your butt from right now, and like just like you sit on
Hmm.
a chair. And as you're sitting on your butt, you feel your bones a little bit. You feel the pressure after a while. Now just
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
imagine you putting something extra in there, fake, that's gonna clump up and different things. It's gonna be uncomfortable because you're gonna have to sit
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
down one day. It might look good standing up, you're gonna have to sit down and it's gonna hurt. I heard a lot of
Hmm.
stories of women hurting. They got stories of women getting them stuff done, looks good, but they be in major pain, on a
But does
daily
it look
basis.
good? I mean, be
It does
honest
not
to
look good.
Master
It
Rock.
doesn't
What
it
do you
doesn't look
He
good.
say
prefer?
it look good.
No,
Yeah,
it
because you
doesn't.
got a little waist. You 200 pounds. You 4'6". You 200 pounds. You got that tiny little waist, but you got 100 pounds in the booty.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
You
Me
look like a
personally,
midget.
me personally, I think the more natural you look
The
naturally,
better.
the
Hmm.
better. And I think
Yep.
if you can increase your aura by doing
Hmm.
self-work,
Yep.
Okay.
but sexiness comes through just being sexy. It has nothing to do
Hmm.
with, you
Okay.
know, trinkets. It's like a tree. The tree is green no matter what you wrap around it. That's just lights and bells. The
Hmm.
tree itself stands alone,
Now I
naked.
believe in pruning a tree sometime when it get a little too top heavy. Like
Well,
sometimes your mom
that's
might
not a
have to
real
go and
tree.
get a little lipo.
But when I think I'm saying when I'm talking about a tree, I'm talking about a real tree.
Top of
You know,
Hmm.
heaven.
a real
She
tree
I'm
gonna
talking about a
stand
woman. I
green.
think of a woman as a tree. She get a little extra in the belly. She can go get it sucked out, but don't go put
correct.
nothing in there.
Correct. I love
But
it.
but
Don't go
That's
go
but
put nothing in there.
but like I said again, you can possibly that's I'm not saying that, but what I am saying, you don't have to do that because if you did that naturally, you know, it's not just your belly that's gonna suck it. It's gonna be your arms. It's gonna be your neck. It's gonna be your face. It's gonna
okay.
be
But
everything.
you could take
Check me,
out
check me.
the
Hold for 1 second.
What
Check me
about
out.
50?
Check this out. 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 They can suck 10 pounds of belly out of you instantly, right? But just imagine if you lost 10 pounds circularly. That means your whole body.
okay
That means the 10 pounds that you're losing is is
in one
not
area.
just in one area. It's coming from your face, it's coming from your neck, it's coming from your arms, it's coming from your fingers, it's coming from all the areas that you're working out
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So
So here's
now
the
you're
thing,
feeling it.
sweetheart.
So that's what I mean. It's going to give off a different aura.
So
Because
now
there's
we on
some
the BBLs and the
because I'm just
the
saying
implant and the
there's some
implantation.
beautiful big
But what do
women.
you
There's some
have to
beautiful
say to the younger community, the younger generation that's up and coming? Do you think there should be a ban to this silicone era of things and tell them to just be themselves?
You have to also understand something. We are all
Say
old
hey.
enough to see. We're old enough to remember. At least I am. We're old enough to remember that. I remember the makeup. I remember back in our day, it was crazy. It was ludicrous for a black woman to even think of surgery, especially even titties and stuff. Especially like in the
Uh-huh.
80s and 90s, black women didn't do that type of stuff. Number one, if they
No, they
had the
didn't.
money, they did not do that at all. This is all new. I remember early versions. I remember early episodes of Dookie Howser, and I remember him and he when he was a young doctor and stuff. And he was, what I'm saying, he was like a boy genius. So I just remember the episodes, and it was always white women. They would try to go in there, and he would be the medic and so much more. But never a black woman, never, not one. It was insane. So for us to do it today, it just shows the Mandela effect to where most people forget what is happening or what happened
Hmm.
prior to. You know what I'm saying? I guess they make it more natural looking, so what people think is okay. But in reality, you forget the side effects. It's like the microwave, for instance. Remember when the microwave first came out, it was killing, it used to blow up everything. You couldn't even eat it, you couldn't hold it for more than a minute. It was terrible. But
Yeah.
once they figured out how to, down the temperature and control the certain
The
things,
wattage and stuff.
yeah, then you know what I'm saying? And that happened in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? That it's still killing people today. You know what I mean? If you
Yeah,
still,
that's true.
yeah.
That's like the first iPhone. Do y'all remember the first iPhone came out and it was blowing up in your pocket?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially that Android. Yeah, yeah. You said it right.
Yeah. That's true.
That Android Note number 9. I never
Mhm.
forget it. Number 8 or something. But I wanted it and I was gonna get it, and then that was to blow up, and I ended up. Then I remember they upgraded to the 9. Yeah, I know exactly.
Somebody
Now
had
they
it
got
up to
the.
their face and the battery exploded on their face. So yeah, it's a lot that goes into this stuff. But I mean, I do know some women that have had some procedures done. They look just as natural as could be because they only just do enough just to be at
I
that
mean,
border.
you gotta also understand the science too. When I think of it, I'm like this. It's like any you can get a brand new heart, for instance. Even if
hmm
you get a new heart, you're still gonna have to perform differently anyway. They give you a brand new heart. You're gonna have to upgrade the heart. You're gonna have to up. You're gonna have to actually work out because it's not your heart. So it's somebody else's heart. So you're gonna have to do more to increase the heart and go back in and more. But you have to think about that. And you gotta think,
hmm
dang, if I just worked out and did that myself, which I'm gonna have to do anyway, once they do the surgery, lose the pounds, and still have to perform anyway, it'd be more it'd be more sensible to do it naturally. It takes nothing but what, 10
Now
pounds of this.
that's true, James. But sometimes when you become an older woman, now check this out, and you have multiple children, that saggy skin that you have on your stomach, it won't go anywhere because it's just empty. You gain muscle underneath, but you have to get that cut off, like a tummy tuck or something. I'm not
Yeah,
talking about adding
that's
anything.
after surgery, right? That's only
That's after
that's
you've had multiple children. hmm Because if you
well,
gain a lot of weight, say that you're small and you gain a lot of weight, it's just from the skin just stretching over time. And
but you
so you get back in the gym, you do everything you needed to do, and then you have that saggy skin. I know because it happened to me. And so when I went to my surgeon, he told me no matter how much exercise you do, it's that skin is not going to go anywhere. And so I
oh
had to
yeah.
get that cut off. They tightened the muscles underneath, and that was it because I had 2 C-sections and one natural birth. So they fixed it all. I don't have any issue with it. But I mean, that makes you feel better as a person. But I will not go and get anything added to my body.
No,
I'm not
no,
going to do
no,
that.
no. I'm just
Mm-mm.
saying, even
No.
with that, but like I said, you still working out today, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You
Yes.
see what I mean?
Because
You
you.
working out.
hmm
All I'm saying is,
hmm
you just perform naturally, differently, and
hmm
that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, once you perform, you can perform. Not just you. I'm just saying, like the everyday person. I know some lazy people, for instance. They don't want to. They think, hey, there's a miracle pill, or I can go get 30 pounds,
Oh, that ain't gonna work there.
and or whatever, and they be like, well, because I got them, but in reality, you could do that, and that may help, but at the same time, you got to also think of the side effects, and a long term effect. So when you really weigh the option, you always want to do not. If I was telling somebody, if I was a female and that happened, I would say, hey, do things, just work the hell out and straighten up, perform the 10, I say, but because different strokes for different folks, so but the body is unique.
That's true.
So let's go into what.
If people are aware of this, but the most important decision you will ever make in your life after choosing to believe in God is the mate you choose to spend the rest of your life with. Your mate will either inspire you to grow into your greatness or they'll confine you to complacency. They'll either be your other half or they'll make you half of yourself. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan said, like, a good relationship will make you more youthful and bring out the best in you, and a bad one will age you prematurely and bring out the worst. So choose wisely. I don't know if people
Well,
are
I just
aware of
wanted
this,
to share that
but the
to
most
see,
important decision.
He dropping some gems right there. So if there's anybody out there, that is with their significant other, just continue to push, continue to love on each other. I'm scrolling on my Instagram right now, getting ready to try to close out, and I just want to see if there's anything in here that we missed. We did talk about. Did you hear about the woman with the 5 kids from Tennessee, Mika? That
Yes.
that got pulled over between her and her boyfriend, and he got locked up. She got a citation. What are your thoughts about that?
I say it again. Say it one more time.
What are your thoughts about that? He got locked up. She got a citation, and all 5 children went to DSS.
I think that sometimes people just wait around and wait to see what color you are, run your ticket. Did they have a right to be stopped? Did they have reasonable okay, so first of all, what I'm noticing is, did they have a reason to stop them? What did they do in order for them to stop them?
You know
And
what?
do you
I
have,
didn't get that answer either. You bring up a good question, because what was
because you
it? Was
don't
it
have to
They
give
traffic?
they they said he was driving on the wrong side of the road or something, or
On the
trying to do a
wrong
turn,
side
but
of the road.
not some real suspicious thing. But at the same time, he was from out of state and he was traveling from state to go to another state from a funeral.
Mhm.
So I guess he did a wrong turn. You know how the highways could be,
But what
and
did she do, and why did their children have to go to DSS, right?
they say when they
She
pulled him
didn't do
over,
nothing though. She just got a
Their
citation. He
children
was
should have remained with her.
right.
that's what that's
So
what they
this
did
was
at
racial.
first. They did at first. They locked him up. They let the kids stay with him. She went to the police department to bail him out. And while she was waiting on him to come around the corner, they came with the DSS people and they took the children. They said, "Hey, we're here to take the kids, something, something, something." Even
That's
though they
crazy.
didn't,
But then what
you know,
about the that part? But what about the 2-year-old that got strangled to death on Facebook Live just yesterday? And the
Now I
police
didn't
officer,
see that.
ma'am,
yeah, that
hold
was.
on. Let me see if we can bring it back up. Hold on.
And,
I'm
and,
about
and let me brace you for this real quick. And I know it's going to seem real bad, but I need you to put your mind around the. I know it's kind of hard to do, but just think of the man for a second and think of the situation and the option that was weighed in his favor. Even though most people, speaking from the different gender, would say, "Hey, he should just give it up and pay me." Or something like that. Just think of it like that, and then think of the biblical solution on so many different other situations, and the stoning of a woman and that of
let
so much, but just go from there.
me see. Hold on.
Basically, this man the woman, she had a child. They had a child together. I guess she had someone else or something like that. And I guess she was
Hold on. Let
torturing
me get
him.
that.
She was psychologically torturing him. When you think of it,
But was
doing all
she?
kinds.
Hold on. Let me share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen right now, and I'm gonna show it once again because this is important and it's so damn sad. A
Yeah, it
beautiful
is
2-year-old. His dad went to
absolutely.
go pick her up from the daycare. Because she's with another man, he decided to do something as heinous as such. Hold on. Let me make sure you can hear the volume. Let me go back in and get this volume going. What the hell's going on with my volume?
Of the 2-year-old girl killed at the hands of her own father. Fox 26's Gabby Hart has been following this story from the start, and she joins us live. So, Gabby, what did the family have to say? Well, I can tell you it was really an emotional interview. This family had tears flowing from their faces as they recalled the moments that the suspect, that they say that suspect, which is the child's father, FaceTimed them, even forcing the mother to watch him injure her child and showing the grandfather that child's bloody and beaten body.
Her face covered in blood. He hit her with something really hard. And then he called me on FaceTime and he showed me that he choked her on FaceTime as I was on. And I said, Trey, that is your daughter. That is your daughter. Stop. That is your daughter. She loves you. I care about her. You care about her. Like, that is your daughter. And he told me his exact words was, you only love that man, so you did this to her.
Kirsten Watson tells Fox 26 she's still numb and in shock. Around 10 o'clock Monday morning, her child's father, identified by police as 25-year-old DeAndre Flanagan, stormed into her job at Walmart in North Harris County. He had their 2-year-old daughter, Zavea Marie, who had just been dropped off at daycare, in his arms.
And
he began screaming at Watson.
He just wanted my phone. He's screaming at me, cursing me out, telling me, what's the passcode? Tell me the passcode or she's going to get it. Like, I'm telling him the passcode and I'm telling him it over and over and over. At the end of the day, I guess it just wasn't enough.
After he took off with Zavea in hand, police say Flanagan took deputies on a 30-mile chase. The car eventually came to a stop on Stubner Airline Drive near Veterans Memorial, where officers took Flanagan into custody uninjured. But little Zavea required CPR until life flight arrived. She died at the hospital.
She was just such a happy baby, and I just know she's at peace.
Watson says in the week leading up to this incident, she had to contact police on 3 different occasions about Flanagan, but she was told there was nothing they could do.
The first day he took my child, like I was giving her a bath in the tub. He stormed in, and he took her like out the tub. She wasn't even dressed, and he just took her out the house and drove away in a car. We've been going our separate ways. And I let him be, but he couldn't let me be. He couldn't let me be happy. He couldn't let me move on with my life.
This family now sharing their story, hoping it helps someone else.
And I wonder about how many other Zaveas is around the world right now, around the United States right now.
My
that's
God.
having the same problem. That's in the city, that's in the state. We got to help one another.
Facts. We really do. It's so sad.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't like the audio with that. I don't like the way that sounds. Just because when I look at that girl, she seems all type of crooked, no matter what anybody says. She seems like some old typical girl fumbling around. Why he got the kid if he all that crazy and stuff? You know what I'm saying? In the first place. So you got to think about that. And then you got to also think, don't try to make it seem like all black men doing something crazy because
It's not
got
all
something
black
going
men.
on.
It's not.
No,
But
it's her situation. It's her
No, he just
situation.
saying don't make it seem like all of them. He talking about that case.
Yeah, the guy at the end talking about there's a bunch of slaves. No, there's only one Shilla, whatever fucking name is, and that's because she's being ignorant and whatever the case may be, in choice and in action. Because even see these girls think you can have a baby by somebody and you be unbound by that man, and then you want to fumble the baby around like a piece of paper or a ball or something, and then that backfires because the man snaps or something of that nature. So you have to think of that. There's two, he, of course, there's, whatever. When you put somebody in the corner, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying you have to think, she don't sit there and look all innocent, girl. You got something going on.
yeah, but that still does not put.
It doesn't justify his actions at all. His actions will be accounted for. Guess what? His actions will be accounted for, and he'll be in court. He'll be justified. He'll be beat. He'll be tortured. He'll be all type of stuff. He'll be accounted for, and when he'll die, he'll be even more accountable.
Yep,
But
that's exactly
check
right.
this out. But check this out. Her but listen closely. Her manipulative and her sneaky ways will never be accounted. God knows what she did to that man and said to that man to make that man go nuts. That'll never be accounted.
Well, it
But
probably
who
will
am I
because
to
she'll
say?
probably never ever be able to have another child again. She'll probably never be able to to have another relationship again. Who knows? 5-10 years from now, she may be in an insane asylum.
She was already in a check this out. Check this out. She was already in a relationship. She said she wanted to move on with her life, so he obviously had the kids. She won't helping this man, sound like to me.
Oh,
Sound
okay.
like to
He
me
had the
she was
children
just
and she had moved on.
I don't know,
exactly. That's
but
what she
here, but
said.
how about this? The child, you don't touch no child. You don't take no child's life.
You don't do
Period.
that.
At the end of the day,
And like I said again,
he wrong. He might
he'll
not
be
have
very
innocent
much
for
accounted
himself.
for that.
And I hope whatever
Oh yeah.
cell he gets to, what cell he gets to, they torture his ass. Because at the end of the day, you don't kill no child. Period. Like, I don't understand this.
No,
I'm not trying to
no.
justify what he has done or what
And then you gotta
she.
also remember too, you gotta also think
But
too,
this mental health
I don't
facilities
think that he I
they need
don't
to have
see you gotta really
and that's why
and
these black men
listen.
they need mentors. We need mentors. We need people at least 20 years our senior in order to properly sit down and talk to us about certain things. Everybody needs one.
I
Everybody
think
needs one.
sometimes I think sometimes when people kill their children, in their mind, they're thinking, well, I don't see her fit to raise the children. She shouldn't be worthy enough even to raise the children because I had them. When they die, when I kill them, nobody else should have them. I can't guarantee that they'll be safe with anybody else.
And
I
that's
know
and
it's
you know
wrong
what?
to kill them. I know it's wrong to kill them, but I can't guarantee that nobody else will hurt my children if I don't have them.
And that's
Fair
that's
enough.
that
And then
real
some people
That's
say,
another way
that's
of
real
looking
shit.
at it.
you know what
But
I'm saying?
that's not the
It's a sick way. It's a sick way to look at it. It's a sick way to look at it. But if they
Okay,
if they
let
go
me
back
say
to the
something. Let me
mother, ain't no telling.
check this check this out. You know what? You said something real. You said it real. Because I'm gonna tell you something. That's almost what's going on today. You have to think about something. Like I said, there's a time for battle, and a time for war, something like that. Peace. But check this out. You gotta also understand, like in war, for instance, if we know war going on and the country's losing, the spoils of war, once the men, no matter how many women in the military, once the men can no longer defend it and the country's raided, the first thing always is the spoils of war, which is booty, which is the woman. Then the woman's the spoils of war, at least the attractive and the young ones who've never probably been touched, and then the children. So those are so most people, like especially back in the Japanese culture, I don't want to get into too much of that, but some of them will kill the children, kill themselves before the enemy takes the children, takes them.
That's true. Yes,
So
that's what they do. They kill them off because then it's better if they kill them than for you to have them
I'm not saying that
and
you
for
see what
you
I'm
to
saying.
torture
That's
them.
I'm not using that in his defense now. I'm just saying in general.
I'm
I'm not
saying it
saying
sounds sick. It does sound sick what we're saying, but we're saying somebody else is not going to say.
And for instance, you
okay.
don't know
What about the
psychological
women
damage. For
police
instance, you got to
force?
think about this. Can you imagine
They
that woman? Can you talk
20
for a second? Hold on a second, sweet lady. Let me say this one thing. Can you imagine that woman holding his daughter and saying, "Ha ha, that's why I got a real man. He gonna do this. He gonna do that. You can't do this." I mean, the psychological torture that man has probably endured to make
Yeah.
no one talks about that the black man goes through. No one talks about the incentives that black women get to destroy their families and you-
Emasculation of the black man.
there you
Emasculation of
go.
him. Mm-hmm. That's
He
true.
he probably was thinking all of that. She probably like, yeah, I'm gonna get you for child support for the next 20 years. He probably seen his future, and
And he
he
probably
probably
said, "Hell, I'm gonna end all that. Hell, bitch. I mean, sorry, y'all.
you,
I mean,
you see what
you
I'm
ain't gonna
saying?
have nothing."
You don't know the psychological damage that woman has put. She's already moved on now.
Yeah.
You,
and
and
the
that's all
child
I'm
is
gonna say.
so it's not like the
Yeah.
child is 7, 8, or that he's 2 years. She's 2 years old. So it's a little bit heartbreaking. But
Yeah,
us,
you're right.
okay,
I'm
And he
not
men,
gonna
got
say
16 years for
women,
child support.
okay, women. I know that we have girlfriends, we got aunties, we got people that we speak to, and we not all of us, but I would say a good 85% of us is on the right track when it comes to seeking out a mentor or someone to speak to, or even understanding that we may need to go to behavioral health.
But you got
But
to
men,
also understand too. But what are you talking about? What are
there's this
you?
wall.
What do real women honestly get together and talk about? Shoes and how to get over on a man. You're
How do
not
you know
really.
that? You
You
don't know
know. I
nothing.
just.
That's not what
No,
we talk. We
I
talk
don't
about
think
real life
so.
stuff.
Not
Well,
the
not
mature
I mean,
woman.
but I'm saying most women. Most women, you see, you got to think. Okay, if you don't say that, well, look at the children of you. The children of you obviously are on that level. The children that you raise are obviously, you kicked out the men in the 80s and the 70s and in the 90s. You raised the children on your own.
Mhm.
So what are your children doing? Your children out here snapping, twerking, and getting it done. Teenage pregnancies, not giving a damn. Babies tossed, baby mamas. They don't know the definition of the
I don't
word
have
wife.
any grandkids. I got to stand
Not you,
correct on
not
that.
you.
I
I'm
ain't
just not
got
talking
none.
about you. I'm talking about the women. I'm
Uh-huh.
saying our women in the
Oh,
community.
don't say
All
most
of it.
women. So say about a good 45%, because there are some women that are great mothers and
Well, they
have
are
great
some women
kids.
at that, but we're not talking about those women because those women that are
Mhm.
great mothers are overshadowed by the
Yes.
Mhm.
disgrace and the filth that
That's
is put
true.
forth. And
Cause
you
I
got to
have
also
seen
understand,
some that are just like
for
I'm
instance,
like
for
just
instance, you got to
terrible.
think about it. Yeah,
Hold
our
on.
women, our graceful women, the one that you so call graceful, they'll condone the woman but accept the homosexual man,
True.
especially if it's their grandson. They say, "Oh,
Yeah,
come here,
that's
he's so
true.
sweet." You
Yeah,
understand?
he
You
was.
got to
Yeah, he
also
dripping with
and
sweetness.
then she'll bring him to church
Mhm.
and treat him like a girl
Put
and
him in
do
the
all
choir.
her put him in the choir the whole nine, knowing, but the whole key time there's no male that she knows
Mhm.
except for sweet Jesus.
So that's
So
why
we have
I
Mhm.
to.
asked, where are the mentors? Where are the outside?
There you
The
go.
last time that I heard of any level of mentor was like Steve Harvey's mentorship program or brothership program. I
Well,
haven't.
well,
I always hear of women empowerment. I've never heard of a men empowerment movement. I've never
well.
heard of
Stop for
men.
a second. You gotta. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna probably be flagged, but on some real business, you gotta think too. You go back to them eras. Like you said,
Mhm.
most of the mentorships has been overran by homosexual men who's been molested and raped, who wants to pass that torture down. So these mentors that you speak of
Mhm.
have all been, you know,
They've been hurt.
fraternalized. And
Mhm.
fraternity
But
is
then
something.
we
So,
still
so,
have our real good
and
men.
most those real good blessed men that you speak of is being institutionalized in a penitentiary somewhere,
Yeah.
falsely accused. Now, you got to
Mhm.
also understand something. You don't
Or they can't get
understand that
enough money to open up
all they want
a
their land, all they
nonprofit or mhm.
you got to also understand too, man. Our system has been led by great men, but most of the men, even in the preaching sense, has to be fraternalized today to even become a preacher. You have to be in some
Mhm.
type of fraternity to be this, that, and the third, and then you come from a class of school to try to teach the doctrine. And not,
Mhm.
you see what I'm saying? So this is a
But those
difference. People,
fraternities are actually they're doing positive, but
they're not
some of
doing
the
positive. You have to
Or you
understand
got to get
something.
up under somebody that knows somebody in order to
But
get
there
out
we
there
go
and preach
again.
the
See, that's why I
gospel.
said
Yeah.
again. We speak of the fraternities doing positive. Most people never been to fraternity. Don't know nothing about it. They're not doing positive. There are a separatist group against you to raise the white man or the white woman in high standard and to be subservient to them. That's another situation. But they won't even admit that. But that's the nature of it. That's why I do so many sick things to be belittled in order to understand and truly be understood. Because
So
that's,
where
I
do
mean,
we
that's
go
not.
from there? How do we make this better? How do we stop the killings and the
First off,
violence
we have
of
to think.
small children? Because I just shared a clip before you came on, Tamika, of a soldier today, like as of either today or yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, that just killed a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an 11-year-old. right here in
Well,
South Carolina in Sumter.
me personally, I think we need more incentives on fathering, and not just see. Back in the day, the incentive for being a father was marriage, and the woman was truly the treasure, and she came with more than just vagina and an attitude. You know what I'm saying? She came. It's today we don't have them same incentives for the young man, if we have any at all. So you gotta understand, most people today only view women only as baby mothers and
No,
things of that nature because that
but that's
language
the
has been
you
taught
know
to
what?
them
For us as
by a
women, I
baby
think
mother.
that we some of
Like
us,
I
not
said,
all,
another thing too,
we that fairy tale that
we have too many wives and too many mothers, advocating whorish behaviors too. So
true,
therefore you have to
true.
you have to you
That
have you have to
TikTok, that Instagram shaking my behind on Instagram, that fans
it,
only page. Like
but
what?
like I said again, it's the women of stature that gives
And
it
that's
any
who gets
stature.
the award. That's who gets the
Because you women sit there and laugh and giggle at it because it's entertaining until the joke's on you. You
mm-mm.
understand?
Mm.
So you have to
Mm-hmm.
remember the joke is on you. It's not on them because at the end of the day, they want you single. They want you lonely. I remember Rothschilds long ago said, you know, that the whole women's movement was just for you women, especially black women. The white woman, they wanted them to separate against the white man so they can so-called have two mortgages, two sets of different mortgages, so they can basically tax two people instead of one. Because back in the day, you can only tax one family, so they were getting less money. So once the woman is separated for the man, they could tax both their behinds. That's why if you ever notice, even in child support or any divorce proceedings, you have to go to the state, and the state and then the divorce decree, which is a piece of paper, whatever you give to the state, and that's the document itself or the docket itself, and that piece of paper only, not you. They don't care about you. They only care about the paper, and that paper separates you to the state and will give payments, and that payments
But at the end of the
creates.
day, James,
But
we there are some great women out here.
I
Let's
didn't say there
let's just
wasn't no great women. We
oh,
ain't not
okay.
talking about
I'm just
great women. We
saying,
talking about
there are
okay,
great
these great.
women. So at the
See the
end of
great
the day,
women.
the married women doesn't have no say because y'all liking and y'all viewing what is already on that TikTok and that Instagram, all the shaking the booty and the shaking of this and the breast and this and
That's
that
not.
and the
Let me tell you
third.
something.
I
That's
like
not
what y'all
even true.
like.
See. Let me say something again. That's not even true. Most men wouldn't even know what that exists if it was wives wasn't watching it. Most married men don't even pay that shit no damn attention. Because they too busy doing married shit, taking care of children, the household, and the family, and pretending and getting things in order. The hell, the people, only single people even have time to even look for that type of shit. So, life could be so good for the woman that she looks at that dumb shit because she's obviously doing that. Not doing it, but she's
Mm-hmm.
participating in the views of it. To where the man is, he don't even have time to really look at his phone and be looking at it. He's participating in things like this and educational stuff and founding of looking for better for the young and the common, and the old, and connecting the
Mm-hmm.
dots.
So I feel in my mind, James, the women that are situated or
And then
have
those
been
women that you're talking about are
married
taken and they are off the market. Those women are
off
in
the
order.
market. Okay. So the off the
That
market
they
women,
what? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Eh,
the off the
I would,
market women, where
and those
are the
women are the ones who need to give the game to the young woman, not on a negative stance, but on a positive stance, like so many I know to do. And I know a lot of great women do a lot of great things, and I know a lot of bad women do a lot of bad things. I
Mm-hmm.
don't never flip the coin on either one because at the end of the day, you know, they're viewed the same. The weight is the same because they both are women. But see,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the weight they have to say, hey, this is heads and this is tails. That's not us. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when women
that's
have to
not
hold
us.
women
Well, I'm
accountable.
saying it now, that's not us.
No, but listen again, listen again, listen again. If you're saying, hey, it's okay, it's fine, women twerk, let's bounce, not let's
No, the
enjoy
fuck
twerk,
it's
girl.
not. Everyone,
Not saying you,
it's not
not saying
fun.
you.
It's not you It's not none of that. And like I don't
But
understand
listen
how.
again, I'm saying not you, but I'm saying that most people, because like I said, there's levels to that. Because back in the day, it's like, okay, you're a whore, you're a prostitute or whatever, you're not going to the church. But nowadays, the whore and the prostitute not just going in the church, but she going in the church. She's sitting up there, with the deacon and all that. You know, playing games and just
But you know, the
joking.
church is a hospital. You got to go and get healed from stuff. Correction got to come
Well,
any way it can come, right?
but you got to also understand it's not really that at all. It's a business. And it's a business that sets a principle of morals. So therefore, the business of principles and the morale that we are instituting in this institution should
Mm-hmm.
be established, and there should be like it used to
Everybody in
be.
the Bible wasn't a good person, but Jesus chose
Absolutely
them.
not. That's not necessarily true. See, I'm going
Well,
to the Old Testament. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If we want to go,
how do you
you got to
turn
go.
negative behavior around?
Huh?
How do you turn negative and bad behavior around?
You're gonna have to keep you're gonna have to keep hearing how to correct it over and over and over again until you understand that that behavior is not gonna be, that it can't be tolerated.
And the real
Because for
thing is
some
the real
person it
thing
may
is
take one time. Another
you have to
person
look
it
in the
may
mirror
take them
too.
7,
You
8
have to
times.
really look in the mirror. You can't
You
just you
gotta
can't you
self-examine
have you can't
yourself.
there you go. You can't just say, hey, because really in reality, let me tell you something. What I really know in this world, what I really know and understand, especially dealing in law and so much more, there's no such thing as right. What you think is right legally will be wrong.
That's
And
true. And what I think
what you think
morally is right.
it will be legally wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
So there's no
yes.
such and then you gotta also think too, these people are, are not just these people, because we the people are doing so much more, and even that we the people is corrupted, not in the citizenship. They say that it's only in the branches of government. Most people can never understand that because they don't understand the preamble. You know what I'm saying? Which goes beyond the Constitution before you even get into the Constitution. So that's a whole nother situation. But that's something not being taught because they don't want you to know, because it gives you too much. And then, they only start you at 17, whatever, because they don't want you to really go back beyond that, because it gives you more legal stature to who you truly are. You wouldn't be sitting here talking
So
about no
for
Africa.
I'm sorry, Master Ra, for the generation here, the 20-year-olds, the 25-year-olds, maybe some 18-year-olds, what do you want to say to them as a man that's gonna stop and turn them around from the strip clubs, from the hoeing, from the fans only page, from all of the bad behavior that they exude, including men. What is it
Well, I'm
that
gonna
we
tell
got to
you.
say to them? Because they
See,
not they don't want to listen to us.
well, see, the key thing is this, man. Like I said, it's all about incentives, man. Incentives on everything. People do right only on incentives. People go to work only on incentives that you're going to get something, rewards, paycheck, something of that nature, something that's going to benefit you. So, we need more incentives to keep people not just financially stable, but more of a how do you say on a digital educational level, to where I seen some kids like 5 to 6 literally training on a high level to, from real masters, whether with guns and weapons, to where you look at our 5 and 6 year olds, they're being trained by homosexual men dressed like women. So you have to
Oh
start
Lord.
with you have to start with the morals. And the morals creates a discipline that's
So what if we take out the content? You know what I've been thinking about? We need to take out. I know this is a little off topic, but we need to take out that ethnic group. I
who?
want the thing that says ethnic group on it. I want it to. I don't want to have like an ethnic group. I don't
Oh,
care
that's
if you.
that. I don't. Well, we got to also understand something too. That. I mean, you say ethnic group and all this stuff, man. You got to all go to the word. And first off, the whole system is down disgraced, because first off, we are tribal people. But the tribe is so big in the states that we have to chop it off into states.
Because
That's why
what
they
if
say
I
it's.
said that I was Mrs. Jones? What if I said that I was Caucasian and saying Black American or African American? What if I
But you
put
had
on
also. Well,
like
like I said, I don't want to get too much to that because these are code words. That doesn't. Those are it's like immigrant talk. That's immigrant talk. That's all immigrant talk because naturally, you're either Native American or black only in the record. But the rest of the people who are black and Chinese, they can put down Caucasian or something and that other stuff. That's just sneaking into the. That's sneak. That's like them $5 people. Just it's terrible. It's just our system has been betrayed and ran over by what they're called. It's not us. So therefore, that's why I say incentives. We need to look out for the young man on another level, not just feed him foolishness and toys. Teach him, put him in charge of certain things so he can have more of a responsibility and more of will. Most people don't want to do anything because they don't see nothing to do, or they don't have an opportunity to even think to do, whether it's even
okay,
to cook it.
okay, well,
Opportunities in a certain
what kind of
respect.
opportunities?
All opportunities, any opportunity that's given should be taken and given to the first black man of America. Be given to the black. You give so many opportunities to women. You give more of them saying women. I don't give a damn. You pile up a bunch of women shaking their butt cheeks, but you won't do nothing. And then you see the opportunities to the most men that you give. They all not necessarily strong men. Most of them in the LGBT community acting like women. So
Right.
therefore, the
You think
opportunity
if
is
we
still
cut off
still
some
in the
of
hands of the woman.
if we cut off some of the benefits of the women that's shaking their butt cheeks and give it to the women that's actually doing something great
Well, that's where
in
we
the
fail again
community.
because that's where we fail again. Because in reality, and I hate to say it, even in a woman, most women don't consider themselves doing anything great unless they are shaking their butt cheeks.
Wow.
So even think about that. Even in celebration, most women
Hold
shaking
on,
their butt
we're gonna
cheeks.
pick this up on our next podcast. I'm so thankful to have you on here. Thank you, Tamika. Shout out to Tamika from Texas. Um,
And
but
I mean
yeah,
that gracefully. I mean that, meaning like
we're
a
gonna
woman can
pick
get
this up
excited.
later.
Oh, this is good. They highest level of dopamine is when they're dancing. So that's an actual fact. I don't mean to say it in a disrespectful way. And I'll end it
Okay.
on that.
Well, do you want to go ahead and lead us out in prayer?
All right, all right. Bless the world, forgive the world, strengthen the world, strengthen us all. Give us strength, give us might, and if we stand in all things right. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Enjoy, be blessed, no stress, and more progress. Bye.